Hi, my name is Rochelle Theriault, and I'm the owner of The Cut Truck, which is a mobile barber shop. My mom just passed around my cards, and I've got little flyers up here as well. They all have 50% off on the back of them, so hold on to them if you want to come see me. So my idea, my idea is, was basically born from, I was doing hair in barbershops and salons for about 10 years, and then I decided I wanted to go to work for myself, which normally looks like renting a station at a salon. I was living in Seattle, and that was gonna be about $1,500 a month, which meant that I would have to charge my clients like big salon prices, which I'm not interested in. I don't want to be charging people $80 for a haircut. I do color, but that's not involved in my business, so we won't get into those prices. But I think that haircuts are this really interesting dichotomy where they are between a luxury and a necessity. And so for some of us, it's a luxury and we do it every 4 weeks. And for some people, it's a necessity that they do once a year because that's what they can afford. And so I wanted to have prices that don't make me broke, but allow people to do it without it being a huge monthly expenditure. So I was in Texas and I saw a Airstream trailer that had a couple barbers working out of it, and I thought that is so cool. Came home from my trip and just couldn't get it out of my head. So I called my dad and I said, can we do this? Can we build it? And he said yes, and he dropped everything else in his life and spent the next year building this thing for me, which is awesome. And Airstreams are really expensive and really heavy and just kind of not what I needed. So I got a little 10x6 cargo trailer, brand new, like you'd haul your stuff if you're moving. And we completely outfitted it, and you walk in and it looks like a little apartment. It's totally finished and trimmed. I've got a little barber chair, a sink, heating, air conditioning, everything. So very lucky to have that, but I started a year and a couple months ago, October of 2018, and it's been a growing experience. I started in Seattle, and then I just moved here in September, where I am from. I was born and raised here. And so I spent a year building up my clientele in Seattle, and then I moved. So I kind of give myself a disservice there, but I wanted to move home. And now I'm working on getting my foot in the door in this community, which in theory should be easier because it is where I'm from and it's a smaller community, but it's just kind of hard to get the ball rolling. So I had a couple weekends down at Pybus Market, and now I'm kind of doing my brainstorming for rolling out next spring and figuring out where I need to go, where people want to see me. I do cuts for men, women, and children. And the one thing that I don't really do, which someone will inevitably ask, is just like come to people's houses. And the only reason is because, and I might add that later, but it's not really worth it for me to go and set up my whole thing to do like your two sons' haircuts. If you can get the whole neighborhood involved, sure, and I'll be there all day. But I'm not legally allowed to be parked on the city street. So unlike a food truck or another mobile operation, they don't make those type of permits yet. Hopefully they'll be coming, but I need to be parked on someone's private property. So if you had a flat driveway, yes, I could come to your house, but it usually ends up being businesses with parking lots that have space for me, like Pybus Market had a lot of space. So I am here to ask you all, one, as potential customers, where would you want to see my truck and where would it be visible and easy for you to use? And two, do any of you have connections or places that you work that would want me to come there? My biggest success on the west side was big office parks where I would go and stay there all day, and 4,000 people worked there, and so it was easy to get 10 of them to come see me. Obviously, Wenatchee doesn't have as huge of office parks, but still, I really only need 8 to 12 people a day, so even a small business would have that if I'm there once a month. All right, yeah, go. Go for it, yeah.
How many parking spaces do you take up when you park in a parking lot?
Generally, I can do one if I back it in because it's short. It's 10 feet long by 6 feet wide, so I can get into a parking spot. But usually if I go sideways, like 3. But if I need to just take up one, I totally can. Right, so like, do you mean like go to Moss Adams during your busy season and then go to insurance company when it's their busy season? Yes. Exactly. And my clientele ends up being about 50% men, 50 women, which I love because I assumed it would be mostly men, but I'm meeting a lot of gals who are a lot lower maintenance than I thought. You know, I just didn't expect women to say, sure, I'll get a haircut right now, right here, but we do. So I love that. Thank you. So it depends where I'm at. At Pybus Market and when I've done like markets, like flea markets and that kind of stuff, it's people that are just like, oh, this is cool. And they'll do it, particularly if they have kids and they're like, my kid's in a good mood, let's do this now, which I totally understand, and I won't cut your kid's hair if they're not in a good mood. So that in those places, yes, but then if I'm somewhere, which this is kind of the idea, that I would be at the same location every time the same month, you know, so like Pybus on the 15th, Moss Adam on the 12th, and then people will know, and my website has a super easy booking system, so people can see, oh, she's on the south side of town, that's where I work, I'll go there on that day. So it's about half and half. I'm always impressed and pleasantly surprised when people just walk up and say, sure, I'll get a haircut today. Yes, and I have thought about that, and yeah, this isn't really prevalent to this room, but I have thought about doing it at a little bit of a discounted rate because I know that those aren't, you know, there's a reason they're there 12 hours a day. They're not making quite as much as you would like to. So those Stamil and Northern, Kai's Fiber, those type of places are definitely on my list to contact, and I do love that idea. Thank you. Exactly. Yeah, and I do some other volunteer work, and I was going to start my thing by saying I feel bad because all my money goes to me, but I do take time each month to give back, and particularly, yeah, there are some school districts that come into mind that I would love to give back and do that, and even if, you know, a $20 haircut is too much for them to come back to me next time, at least they'll have me in their mind and think good about me if anyone mentions. And that is an awesome idea. One thing that I forgot to mention is the hardest part about this is the lag time between me contacting a place and saying, this is what I do, here's my insurance policy, can we do it? My turnaround time is like 4 to 6 months from that initial email to when I actually get on site. So that feels like a long time when I'm not bringing in any money. But there are other places, and I don't really have a pestery type personality, so I have to make myself bug them again and bug them again. But once I get there, they're like, oh, this is so great, I'm glad we did this. But I'm like, I had 6 months where I wasn't making any money. But so yeah. It depends. If I can get, like now that I'm in Wenatchee, if I can get into somewhere and say, hi, where's your manager? Can I talk to him? Great, I'll do that because I believe that I can sell myself. In Seattle, it was mostly emails because there's no way I'm going to find the person at Amazon that I need to talk to. But I believe in face-to-face a lot more. Well, basically, and I prefer to go to businesses because I don't have to pay to be there. So everything I'm making is profit, whereas like at Pybus, I'm paying them rent to be there. So what I'm telling businesses, which they agree with, is we're providing an amenity to your employees, just like you would say, oh, we bring in a food truck on Fridays or whatever. And I don't know the market quite as much in Wenatchee, but in Seattle, that was a really big deal because they're competing with Google and beer taps and dogs and all this stuff. And so they're like, if we can say we've got haircuts here for you, then that's great. And so usually people just see it as, oh, our guys at Moss Adams don't have to run out and get a haircut. They can just do it right here. And I know that when I was working a 9-to-5 job, the last thing I wanted to do at the end of the day was go run errands. So if you can get something done and break up your work day with a little fun novelty thing and then go back, then it's a lot better. I would. Oh, absolutely. Yes, and I would. I haven't worked with anyone that wanted to do that, but yeah, that's definitely like one of my places over in Bellevue, Google just moved in, and I'm assuming that they will offer because they pay for everything for their people. So if I mean, they give me $200 and then I just do as many people as I can do. That was great for both of us. I had here and here.
Do you go to college campuses?
Sorry. I tried to get in with WVC, but they won't let me be on their campus. I think the only way I could do that would be to, if they had like some sort of student fair, I could pay to be a vendor there, which all the places that I've looked just to like be a vendor somewhere, even like if you were to go sell your hats at Pybus, I'm like, I can't pay $500 because I can't make that back in 2 days. You know, I could get close, but I'm not trying to make $100. But with the college, I'm going to keep pestering them. And there are places around there, like our college in particular, I could go to like the Sage Hills Church, or like there's an Automoca parking lot. Sure. And so again, I'm trying to bug the people around them because I know college students are busy. Yeah, Central is probably the furthest I would want to go. And there's plenty of parking there. You know, if I think of like UW, it's like, where am I going to park? There's no parking anywhere. But Central, I would definitely, that's actually a really good idea because I went there too. I used to go to my friend's frat house and just set up in the bathroom, just line them up. Pink sweater. Yes, so they can do yes. So if it's a slower day, walk-ups are fine, and walk-ups, I could always squeeze people in between appointments, but like I said, my booking system is super easy. And so if somebody's like, oh, there she is, they see the website, it's on the truck, jump on there, be like, oh, she's got an opening in 2 hours, I have a class break then, you know. Yes, except I keep cutting hair while I'm talking to you. Exactly. And so this summer, I was at a lot of markets in Seattle, and luckily I could have my door open because the weather was nice. When the weather's not nice, I need to keep the door closed so that I can keep the heat in. And so I thought about, oh, I should have my boyfriend here being like, oh, hey, here you go. I was able to do it, but you're right, as it gets busier, I won't be able to. What I would love to do is just have like an iPad outside or right there where instead of you being like, Google my website, go find it, the iPad's there, it's attached to the app, you just look, pick it, done. And that's something that is a little more affordable than hiring someone in the next couple years. But you're right, eventually I would love to have an assistant. So in Seattle, I tried to be in the same places every month. So I had 2 business parks that I went twice a month, and then I would try to frequent the same market, like little flea markets. And generally, like, I stopped going to one office park, and so the clients I had there just said, well, the other one's just down the road, we'll just come there. Again, I'm always pleasantly surprised that people will put in effort to find me. And so the thing is, I'm mobile, but I'm not leaving the valley. So like your idea of going to Central, I will look into that because it would only take like one day out of my month. I go to Bellevue once a month, but other than that, I'm gonna be in the Wenatchee Valley or East Wenatchee. And so as long as somebody has my website, they just go look on the calendar, oh, she's at this place or that place. And because of my age and the fact that I'm always on my phone, my response time is pretty quick. So if somebody messages me like, hey, where the heck are you? Boop, 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 I'm here, we're done, you know? So that, and I think that even just like the couple people I had down at Pybus, one of my customers is back there. Recently I had, because that was, you know, 6 weeks ago, I had a couple of return customers and I was obviously in a different location. I thought, okay, people are finding me. If they're not, they could shoot me an email and say, the website's annoying, how do I get to you? You know, so I try to be really responsive because I want, like on my website, my verbiage says we, but it's like, it's just me. There's nobody else. So you're getting me. It doesn't matter what app you get to me, it's always me. So yeah. Yes. So that's a really good idea, and that's the one thing that I haven't done yet, like kind of a mailing list, but super easy to do because when you make an appointment on my website or app, it has your email address. So I could shoot that out, and that's something that in the next like month, I'll take some time. And again, it's just so not my personality type. I don't like to bug people and solicit, but I know men in particular are like, oh my God, I do need a haircut. You know,
when you leave the dentist, right?
Exactly.
Like when you leave the dentist, you get the appointment card, right? So
Yes.
it's like almost something where when they finish their haircut, you're like, how long do you want to wait until your next haircut?
Exactly. And they're more likely to come back to you if they already have an appointment.
Exactly.
Yes, thank you. Would I rent a space like park permanently? Yeah. Yes. The only reason I wouldn't want to do that is because it does take away from my options. Well, I could always leave and go, you know, go do my Bellevue clients for the day, go to Central, whatever, as long as I'm not, you know, I'm not going to build a deck around the thing or anything. I'm from here and I want to get married and have some kids, and I couldn't afford to do that in Seattle. But because of my industry, yes, there's more people, and if I just went to those Bellevue office parks, yeah, I could make a bunch of money, but I didn't want to be a cog in that wheel anymore. And I don't work for Amazon, so I get to live in a place like this. I'm like, that's the cool thing about my industry. I get to live anywhere. I don't have to live in the big city where everything about it annoys me. And so I was like, oh, I can come home and I can, you know, lower my prices a little bit to match the market, but everything else, I was excited to come back. And all small towns are like this. There's a million hairdressers, but there's also a million people that there's enough heads to go around. And most of the other hairdressers in the valley that I've worked with and talked with, we all kind of have the same attitude. There's plenty of clients to go around. If you're the best at what you do, they're going to come back to you. So that's the attitude that I have. This guy. That's right. And that's what the cool thing about being mobile is, it allows me to reach and get to know people from all over. You know, if I park here, I'm going to get a different demographic than if I park in the north end, and I like that. I don't want just all the same type of people. Yes, so that is also on my list of things that I want to figure out how to market. I don't want to do women's styling. You could offer me $1 million, not touching it with a 10-foot pole. Those of you who have gotten married know what I'm talking about. But the idea of being like, hey, I'll show up the night of the rehearsal dinner and cut all the bachelor or the groomsmen's hair so that they don't look silly because they all go to supercuts. Then make them they all have uniform, nice, well done haircuts. I think that is something that I would love to do and would be super fun. And when I moved home, everyone said, weddings are the industry in this valley, and I don't want to deal with the women, but I will deal with the men.
You'd be a groomsman gift.
Yeah. No, yeah, you always need more, and that's one thing about moving back to Wenatchee and having a lower cost of living is I can take days where I work and don't make any money and actually give back to the community. So currently I am working at the Hair Loft, which is a little salon on Orondo, because I didn't want to mess with snow in the winter because I was feeling not that motivated for that. So you all have 50% off. Yes, I do. Okay. But I just was like, last year I was in Seattle and I didn't have to deal with snow, and I'm not quite ready to take that on yet. I'm still new to driving a trailer. So, but I'm at the Hair Loft for the next couple of months until our snow comes and goes, and that's why I'm spending these months to like really rev up and be able to roll out and get new places. But I'm cutting hair there, so your cards all have my information on them. My website will send you there, and come get a cut and check me out.
Woohoo! Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
So much.